You can't be prepared necessarily for a wreck to occur, but you can take steps that will mitigate your risk.
Hello and welcome to Ask the Lawyers. I'm Leslie Rohde. Glad you're with us. Today's topic, well, this is something that has happened to many of us. We're in a car accident and we're injured. What do we do in that case? We have attorney Alan Robertson with the Sloan Firm in Longview, Texas here to answer some of our questions. Hi, Alan. Thanks for being here.
Pleased to be here.
First question, just really, why do I need to call an injury attorney like yourself after I have an accident immediately?
Calling an injury attorney like our firm puts you on as equal footing as possible with the insurance company. The insurance company is there to deny or delay the payment of your claim. And so contacting a firm like ours early on in the process, make sure that you don't unwittingly make a mistake with your claim that then someone would then have to come along and fix later down the line.
If I'm injured in an accident, how do I pay the medical bills that may come up?
Well, the first thing to do is that if you have health insurance, whether through your place of employment, through the government, such as Veterans Administration benefits, Medicare, Medicaid, or whether you purchase it yourself in the open market, the thing that you should do is to go ahead and have your healthcare providers bill that health insurance to the extent that they're agreeable to doing so. There are steps that you can take now proactively to help in that regard. I recommend that everyone carries what's called personal injury protection. This is a no-fault coverage that is required to be included in every automobile insurance policy issued in the state of Texas unless you reject it in writing. And a lot of times people will reject this coverage in an effort to save a little bit of money on their premium. My recommendation is twofold. One is to go ahead and purchase that coverage, and second, get as much as that insurance company will sell you. Most insurance companies will sell up to $10,000 of personal injury protection coverage. The turnaround on getting that personal injury protection benefit paid is usually relatively quick, and that can help you pay co-pays and deductibles, or if you are unfortunate and do not have health insurance, it can help pay those initial medical bills.
Very good advice to remember as we're looking at insurance coverage, that's for sure. What about the other driver? I know this has happened to me before. I'm in an accident and the other driver just doesn't even have insurance or doesn't have enough of it to help me out.
Well, that's the second part of my advice is there's personal injury protection, which I mentioned a minute ago. There's also uninsured, underinsured motorist coverage. This coverage on your health or your automobile insurance policy comes into play when the other driver does not have enough does not have enough automobile insurance, or does not have automobile insurance at all. And so my recommendation is to, again, get as much of that underinsured motorist coverage as your automobile insurance carrier will sell you, because the difference between the lowest amount of coverage and the highest amount is really an incremental amount.
So I know that I would call my insurance company after I've been in an accident, but then comes the time where I might get a call from the other driver's insurance company, and I don't know what to say. Do you have any advice for me there?
Well, if you've retained a firm like ours early on in the process, then you can simply tell them, I've hired counsel and you need to speak with my lawyer, and you give them our name, your lawyer's name, and your phone number, and their phone number. My advice would be to say as little as possible to the other driver's insurance carrier, because it is in their financial interest to get you to say something that harms your claim. So as little as you can say, and then again, if you've hired a firm like ours, you can essentially pass the buck to our law firm.
Good to have somebody. Yeah, good to have somebody like that you could pass the buck, as you say, to, or just hand off to, right? To
Certainly.
know how to answer, you'll know how to answer those questions in a safe way. Okay, so if I'm the driver, I'm in the accident, and what if I think I may have been partly to blame here? I'm partly at fault. Any advice for me there?
Well, certainly, my recommendation would be to not admit fault until there can be a full investigation of everything, all the factors and circumstances surrounding the wreck. That's the sort of thing that can be used against you before all the facts have been gathered. There may come a time when you need to admit fault, but it's not in those minutes, hours, or even days after that collision occurs.
So we've talked about several things today. Is there anything else that you'd like, some advice that you would like to leave our viewers with today, a takeaway that they really need to think about if they or someone they love have been involved in an accident?
Well, the first thing that I would suggest is to be prepared. You can't be prepared necessarily for a wreck to occur, but you can take steps that will mitigate your risk, that will lower the financial risk to you and to your family. And the personal injury protection and uninsured, underinsured motorist coverage that I mentioned are critical to doing those things. Second, I cannot stress enough how important it is to hire a qualified personal injury attorney as soon as you can after the wreck occurs, and after you get to a place in your medical treatment where you can meet with a personal injury attorney. Our fees are based on a contingency fee arrangement. There's no fee unless we recover for you. So there's no risk to you in hiring our law firm, and things turn out to be not as severe, not as dramatic as perhaps maybe you earlier intended or expected.
I'm glad you mentioned the contingency fee there, because I think some people may be afraid to call based on the financial possible issues. So thank you very much for all that advice. I know you have a lot of expertise in this area of personal injury, especially involving accidents. So once again, I appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching this episode of Ask the Lawyers. We would love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can check out more episodes as well. And if you're ready to choose a lawyer that lawyers choose, go over and check out AskTheLawyers.com. Thanks again for watching. I'm Leslie Rohde.